Anna Maria, thank you very much for your very dynamic talk this morning during this ISHEID meeting. So you showed us what was the evolution of the AIDS pandemic since its beginning in 1983 to today. What are the three main messages of this kind of overview?
Well, I think the main message is that the epidemic grew very fast in the beginning, and the first affected countries were in sub-Saharan Africa, but then it spread also, and now the fastest increase in the number of new infections is actually in Eastern Europe, where we still don't see any stabilization of the epidemic. What we also see, another message, is that the prevalence rate, the number of people living with HIV, is no longer a very good measure of the occurrence of the disease, thanks to the rapid scale-up of access to antiretroviral treatment, which makes people survive to a much larger extent. Another message is that not even the middle-income countries in Africa can actually afford to sustain and initiate new people on ART because it's too expensive. They're entirely dependent on external funding to actually keep the people already on treatment for life, and also to initiate new ones. So there's no way countries could afford to treat everyone unless the incidence, the number of new infections, comes down dramatically. That's one of the messages, that for every person put on treatment, more than 2 new are infected. So we need to do something much more effectively about prevention in order to actually provide treatment for those in need.
At the end of your talk, I took that note. You said that 4% of the world population contains half of HIV infected patients.
That's
4%
true.
of the world.
That's true, and that population, it's 4% in Southern Africa.
For you, this is an optimistic message or a pessimistic one?
Well, I think it's the truth, and it's also, it must tell us something about the reasons, of transmission, why this is the case. We can't talk about one HIV epidemic in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa. It's actually mainly in Southern Africa. And it's not the poorest countries in Africa, it's the middle-income countries in Africa that have the highest prevalence. So 4% of the population lives in the southern tip of Africa, and they have 50% of the infections. And it must be related not then only to poverty, because these are the richest countries in Africa, but also to sexual risk behaviors in terms of concurrent relationships, age discordance, and also less male circumcision.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
welcome.
thank you again for participating to this event. Thank you.
Thank you.